Hello guys, and welcome to HRL Season 5, round number 14, Slinger Super Speedway. This is going to be Moto 2, the final Moto for this event. Going to invert the field as always. Going to be an interesting one, especially with those backpack drivers starting up front because, you know, there's a lot of blue flag. There's probably the most blue flag action we've seen in a while in the last Moto, so putting some of those guys up front I think is going to make this really interesting. I think it's going to look kind of similar to the end of last Moto. I think that's what the beginning of this Moto will look like, probably for like the first 2 or 3 minutes or so, assuming we go cautionless. I think that's what it'll look like. But anyways, here we go. About to go green. See how these guys do in the front row. Very, very good, honestly. that was really good restart right there. So good on those guys. Could be better than Jake Speed for making that such a nice restart. It looks like we got several 3 wides already. Jake Speed, I don't know if you guys saw that, but going tires in the snow, definitely losing some traction there, but he's still able to hold on to that top 3 spot. You could tell he's probably cheech clenching, little yoke right there. I bet he was in that situation because that got a little tight. Little 3 wide up there for like 3rd spot. Settled out now. Gonna be just 2 wide. Looks like. Now it's gonna be a 3 wide. Roman's gonna try to work his way in here, but we got a 3 wide right behind that 3 wide as well. So everybody all over the place in this mid pack, just going for as many spots as they can soak up. Looks like we might have a possible 3 wide behind these guys as well. So yeah, the 3 wides are just continuously going, dude. They're just not ending at this point. Looks like Fireball is going to try to form one of his own here, but that outside driver, I think those could be better. Just got a nice run off the outside exit of the corner. Was able to get away from those guys, but Detail pulls that slide job. That's going to slow up, could be better a little bit. Possibly another 3 wide. Huge 2-wheel action, like almost lag action there for Elite. That was interesting. Hunter, you could see him cheese the wall a little bit further behind. You know, definitely going to hurt his race. Roman's starting to lag. This is huge, absolutely huge right now with Roman's lag cheese. Got to see how bad it is. Oh my, it looks like it's pretty bad. They recovered. I think that might stay green. It definitely hurt him, but I think that might stay green. And you know, this is a big race for the championship battle. I haven't been able to update it too much because I decided to just do, you know, there's going to end up being like 3 recaps this season, I guess. And the next recap video I release is going to be literally like a season recap. Like the first 20-25 minutes of it will be just season recap, and then it'll be getting into the nitty-gritty of what's going on in these last couple of rounds and what the Champ Series situation is and all that stuff, you know, all that good stuff. So that's what that recap video will look like. It's going to be a long one, but at the same time, you're only going to have to watch one 40-minute recap instead of like, you know, a solid 8 to 10 20-minute ones, 15 to 20-minute ones. So yeah, I think it balances out. I think it balances out just a little bit. It's kind of like a podcast, I guess. Kind of like a solo dolo podcast. Anyways, we got, I think, Jake Speed in the lead here, which is crazy. Jake Speed still holding on to the lead here. That's Fireball trying to fight for it, and second Uncle Blake trying to make his way for this 3rd place spot, but he just, you know, got that second gear cheese again. One of those things that'll come with Halo 5 experience, and Detail's just getting mad runs on the outside after that, and he could be able to make some sort of move here on Fireball. If he gets the edge, Uncle Blake's going to have a little bit more to work on, though, because he lost all that ground. Nice run right there. Kind of dragging another driver with him as well, so it's going to definitely lead to a 3 wide. Oh, that was so close. That could have been really bad for Detail and Blake, but they were able to avoid Jake there, but another driver wasn't, so that ended up being a caution, and we got this race restarted. So here we go with the restart. What do we got here? 3 wide up for second, and several 2 wides throughout the pack. It looks like that 2nd place battle is still staying just as hot as it was before. All those drivers hungry for that position. And meanwhile, Vulcan, don't know how, but Vulcan, yawn action has worked it. That was really long. Vulcan has worked his way into the lead. And it's Uncle Blake right behind him. Can't necessarily tell who's in 3rd, to be honest. I'm going to say that's not Fireball. Might be Opix. Might be Opix or Elite. But we'll get an update on that soon. But yeah, big for Vulcan to be in the lead here. You know, he's the pole sitter for this race, and he does have a Moto win on an oval this season. Huge 2-wheel right there out of Fireball. That could have been bad. So I think that takes a little bit of the pressure off Vulcan. You know, after you get that first Moto win, more tend to come because there's not as much pressure, but he's going to be pressured by another person that does not have his first moto win and wants to get it. Uncle Blake trying to make a run here on Vulcan on his inside. More fireball loosage action there. Just losing hella spots. Gonna go back to this lead. Look at this nice three-way lead battle with 5 minutes left to go, halfway through this moto. It's going to be Blake, Vulcan, and Opex, I believe. So, good little lead pack we got. And this is big, too, like, for Opex and Blake, this is absolutely huge. If either of them could pull off a win here, that would increase their chances of making the Champ Series off of a wild card spot, like astronomically, especially for Opex. For Blake, he would have to get a win in an overall, but for Opex, he could just get like a frickin' moto win, and that would pretty much near guarantee him a spot. So if Opex can like fight his way up here and catch up to Blake, this could be huge with him. But instead, right now he's battling with Detail for this third place spot, having a nice little two-way battle for him. And I think Opex is hoping for some lap traffic action at this point because, again, if he could get this moto win, that would pretty much guarantee him a spot in Champ Series. And the same kind of goes for Blake. Blake's going to need the overall, though, and he's got some contenders. Detail had a second place. First moto, Luke got first. Haven't seen him yet this moto. Roman got third, and Blake got fourth. So obviously, like, it's going to be those, if someone's going to challenge him for the overall with where he is right now, it's going to be one of those other three guys. And right now, though, I think it's looking good. I think Detail would have to beat him to take the overall, so Blake's in a really good spot right now, actually. He's in a really good position. Could very well see him take his first moto win in overall, as long as he doesn't get cheesed by a caution or lap traffic, which, you know, looking at the first moto, looks like that hasn't been the case. We've only had one caution so far this event. This race is starting to get settled out, so that's going to help. But lap traffic cheese is going to be interesting because we don't have as much time to develop that huge lap traffic pack. So, you know, I think the leader in this race might have to lap, like, I don't know, let's say like three people max, whereas in last moto it was the leader probably lapped 8 or so at least, maybe even more. So this is going to be interesting. And speaking of those people that he's going to have to lap, he's working his way up to him right now. These are his first two victims for lapping. So this is huge for Blake. If he can get by these guys clean and not spend too much time behind them, because he doesn't have as big of a gap as Luke had in the first moto. It's definitely a big gap, but he doesn't have as much to work with. So Blake's going to want to get by these guys as fast as possible. And it looks like Hunter and Justice both going to pull to the inside. They're just going to let Blake rail around that outside. And you can see how much faster that is. He's just making continuous gains. And there it is, 2 minutes left, and Justice has started to settle back to the outside behind him, and Blake has gotten by, so that's huge for him. Now it's also going to be huge for Vulcan to hold off, you know, not to hold off, to get by these guys as fast as possible, because if he doesn't, we could see Detail there with also a very close gap. So just like Vulcan needs to pull off exactly what Blake did right there, and it's not looking good for Vulcan because these guys are in a tight two-way battle as Vulcan's catching up to them. So not looking very good for Vulcan in this situation. Vulcan's just going to have to make the right move at the right time. Don't get too over. If he gets over aggressive and like mistimes his move, then that might be it. Looks like Blake's going to lap a third person. He's going to lap Bean right there. And there it is. Bean's going to go up a little bit, then he comes back down. Does not want to lose these positions behind him. And I think Blake might have lapped one or two more people at this point, like beforehand, but I'm not exactly sure. But here we go, 1 minute left. And there you see Vulcan. Whoa, Justice! Justice just, like, that was kind of an overreaction, but alright. That could have been dangerous, man. That could have been a caution if someone else was, if Detail was, like, right there. It could have been dangerous. But as you can see, Vulcan lost some time getting through that lap traffic, and Detail is caught up. He's now right there behind him, and Detail's nearly in slide job range. So if he can get in slide job range, maybe make a move as soon as Vulcan catches up to these two guys in front of him, Hunter and Bean, that might be the play. That might be the play here, and this could be big. Again, I was talking about championship standings. Getting a second place here, obviously huge for a second place for a championship points battle. And he's gaining just a little bit each lap, just getting a little bit of time here and there. And now Vulcan's going to go for the move. Now this is really this is the pivotal point in this battle, is what Vulcan decides to do in this situation. As you can see, he mistimed his move. He lost time. I think Detail's going to go for it. There it is, 3 laps to go. Goes for that move, getting aggressive with Vulcan, and now it's going to get interesting for Detail as well, because look at this. They're going to have to split through the middle of these guys potentially. Vulcan getting that run on the outside. Is Detail going to have the room to pull that slide job? He's got Hunter to his inside. He's not going to have the room to do it. 2 laps to go. And it's Vulcan's looking nice in this position. We're hitting final lap. There goes Detail again on the move. And we're going to have to see this at the finish. We're going to go to Uncle Blake real quick as he takes that checkered. Let's take a look at Detail and Vulcan at the line. It looks like Detail was able to make the pass with that photo finish on Vulcan for second. So unfortunate for Vulcan to lose that position that late, but at the same time, Vulcan's still got a podium, man. So that's a pretty good finish for him. Definitely good for his point values on the season. Vulcan still wants to get that best finish that he's had, that best season. And so far it's looking like this is his best season. There you go, there's the results. And I kind of understated it. Uncle Blake with his first moto win of his career in his 4th start. Absolutely insane. Congrats to him. I'm not surprised in the least, though, because he's an oval racer through and through. Kind of expected that to come quite quickly. But still, at the same time, to get on a different game and pick up ovals that fast and get the win that fast and get the overall, which as you can see on screen he did. That's just absolutely huge and very impressive. So congrats to Uncle Blake. That was a well-ran race. Definitely fun to watch. So good run on him. Hope you guys enjoyed that event. See you for the next one.